Now there's such a variety of tools that you can use to apply masking fluid. But I'm going to show you a different one today. This is one called a ruling pen, where you can use a little wheel to widen it and make it a little bit tighter like that to be able to apply that masking fluid to the paper. So let's have a play with this ruling pen and see what happens. Now on the market, there's a lot of different tools you can use to apply masking fluid. There really is, isn't there? Right from something like a blender brush like that to an old brush, which I've got here, one of my old detail brushes, which I tend to use quite a bit as well. Even a cocktail stick as well. Today, what I'm going to do is show you how to use one of these ruling pens for applying masking fluid. And you can also use it for applying paint as well, believe it or not, something like this. Now, the beauty about one of these, you can control the flow of the fluid or the paint by turning that little wheel you can see inside there. Look. And that's as wide as that nib will go. I'll try and focus on that for you. See how wide that is? So really, really wide. So let's get some masking fluid. I'm going to use my PBO drawing gun today, which is this one here. Look. Just pour a little bit of that in there. This is an old milk bottle lid, believe it or not. I tend to use these quite a lot when applying masking fluid. A little tip, by the way, if you're doing this by the side of a painting, you're going to put it on top of the painting, get some scrap watercolour paper or some card or something like that. Something like this one here, look. Then pop it on that instead, just to prevent getting any masking fluid on that paper that you don't want there. Let's try this wide open first of all, shall we, and see what we can do with it. Yeah, I don't hold much faith in that, I really don't. I can't even pick up the masking fluid from there, as you can see. Look, I've got a tiny amount in the middle. Yeah, there you go. That's about it. Not a lot, is it? Really isn't. So try that one first of all. Let's try it over here, look. And yeah, I can draw with it, which isn't too bad that wide. But it's not very fluid, is it? It keeps breaking up all the time. So let's just tighten that down. So I'm going to make this gap just about a tiny, tiny gap, maybe 0.5 millimetre, something like that. Right in the very end. I can just about pass my nail through there. Let's try that. So that's the other extremes now. This is really, really tight. Now when you look at the side of this, you can see how much masking fluid this is holding now. So let's try that. And you can see straight away it's depositing the masking fluid really well on the paper. And as you start working with it, still got some in there, look, as you can see. You can get some very, very fine lines. See this? Ideal if you're doing something like cats, dogs, animal whiskers, anything like that. I've run out now. First try drawing a tree, just a basic tree using the same method here. Look. Ready? Start at the base, so where it grows from. It's going to grow from the bottom and work its way up. Like that. Try drawing a tree with it and see what happens with it. Like so. I love playing, I really do. When you recharge it, make sure that you start at the thickest end first of all if you're doing something like this. Otherwise you'll end up with a big thick chunky part higher up. They can flick out a few branches here and there as well. Run out again. I may be able to tighten that down just a fraction more maybe. Dodgy. I'll try anyway. We'll see. We'll see in a minute. And add a few extra little branches here and there on this here tree. It's always wise as well if you're doing something like this is to start from the tree and then flick out. At least that way you got some nice tapered lines as well. But you can see how well this is working just by tightening down that little wheel there to make it even tighter. So a tiny amount left in there as well to use, which you can just about make use of like that. For this here, that's a very long branch on that one, isn't it? This here tree. Just make it a little bit longer there. There you go. And they can just carry on flicking out a few little branches and twigs here and there. And if you wanted to, you can even create some kind of swirly motions around the top of the tree to indicate just some very basic leaf shapes as well. A bit like clouds really, isn't it? Something like that. Now when I'm using this, I can either use it on its side, so I'll just recharge that again, look. So it's fully charged as you can see, or just about anyway. I can use it on its side like that, so I'm going to go sideways, or I can use it like a pen, or like a pencil, something like that as well. So if I wanted to, I could write my name with this. There you go, make it nice and thick. And they can also use it very fine as well to create some, well, tiny lines to indicate grass, for example, if you're working with a landscape painting. Very fine, like so. There you go, look. We've even got another something there growing from the side of that tree, probably a bush just coming over the top of it. And even create a little bit of a fence, maybe. 3 lines? Yeah, I'd say so, wouldn't you? And then just coming down there like so. A little bit of a fence. And we can even make that, if you wanted to, into a 5-bar gate. Or thereabouts anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that'll do. And a few grass blades here and there, just around the outside edge. Just underneath it. And if you find that your masking fluid doesn't flow enough, then all you need to do, just add a touch of water to it as well. And that then will give you a little bit more flow with that fluid. Now the thing about these ruling pens, they do get clogged up after a while. So what you need to do is open up as far as you can go, and as far as I can go on there, lot. But you find you get bits of masking fluid just stuck inside those jaws there, just inside the 2 prongs. So what you need to do, get some kitchen roll, anything like this will do, and then feed that through, have it fully open like that, lot. And feed that through the kitchen roll, just to kind of brush off any masking fluid just inside there. Or cloth or anything like that will do. Then all you need to do then, just tighten it back down again so you've got that tiny, tiny gap ready for using again. There we go. Right, let's add some colour to the picture now, shall we? Let's give it a try. Let's have a play. Now I'm going to start off with some blue right at the top for the sky. Very, very basic indeed. Nothing flash whatsoever, just a bit of fun, that's all we're doing here, look. Playing with that masking fluid, just to demonstrate how well it works really more than anything. Oh, look at that, running out of paint. Oh, get some red, there you go. Alizarin crimson. French ultramarine and alizarin crimson, there you go, look. And all the way down, a nice purple going on there. Some more red. Just down to there, bit of yellow. Just down to here as well, to kind of mix in with those colours. Look at that. Okay, there's my name, Paul. Did you know that? And then I can add a little bit of green down here. There you go, I've got a bit in the background there as well. Just to add it in, just to put some colour on the paper. This isn't a painting as such, nothing flash, nothing like that. Just to demonstrate the use of masking fluid, that's all I'm doing here. Now the only thing with masking fluid, when you do apply it, you will find it will kind of bubble up a little bit in certain places like that. So what you can do, get some kitchen roll, take some paint off the brush, just lift off a little bit of paint where it's collecting on that masking fluid, especially if your board's on a bit of an angle like mine is. There we go. And there we are. Well, that needs to dry at room temperature now. A word of warning, try not to dry it with a hairdryer, because if you do, there's a chance, not always, but there's a chance that will harden that masking fluid. That when you go to remove it, you won't be able to. You'll end up tearing the paper. Just worth noting. Well, that's just about dry, I think. Yeah, just about dry. It's warped it a little bit, and it was cockled, which it always does. I normally use a pad which is glued all the way around. At least that way around it stays nice and flat. And they're called block pads, okay? So it's worth looking those up if you haven't got one. Now you can use one of these sort of mask away things, like a masking fluid pickup thing, but mine's gone really, really hard. And I don't think, no, it does touch it just about. It's not that effective now, I don't think, but I'll try using it. I do normally use my finger instead. I prefer to use my finger to remove masking fluid, only because I've got more control. Make sure your finger's nice and clean though before you do that. You don't want any sort of natural oils on the paper. And you can see this is starting to reveal my very rough looking tree. But remember, this is just a demonstration to give you some ideas on how masking fluid works. Oh, and don't forget as well to like and subscribe to my channel here, because at least that way around, when I do put another video on here for you to watch, you shouldn't miss it. Then all you need to do is fill in the areas that you want to fill in, and leave those areas where the light's catching the white of the paper. So for example, I put a little bit of brown on this side of this tree. And that's on the right hand side. Imagine the light's coming from this side here, look. Like that. Something like that. Yeah. This is just burnt umber on its own. Neat burnt umber. I'm not messing about today, I know. Just on the side of the tree, like that. Probably down the side here. So the light's coming from this side. You can see it's catching that side there. And the underside of these branches as well. Just around there. They can blend this and just move it around as much as you want to. Then all you need to do is apply the paint to those areas where it's needed, so reserving the white of the paper. And there you go. That'll give us some ideas on how to use a ruling pen and the different whips you can have to use that for masking fluid and create something like a tree. There you go. But remember what I said, you can use it for all sorts of things, including whiskers on animals. If you're interested a little bit more about using masking fluid, I'll pop a link to the top right hand corner for you. Okay? I'll see you there.